What's up, Myth World? We're back here in Game 3 of the Myth All-Star match. Again, I'm here with Limp, Dak, and Eastwind.
Yo.
Alright, so this map is Plagued Lands. I think it's also called, the mesh is called Cursed Lands, and it was from the Myth World Cup 2007. And I guess a couple other guys remembered this map from way long ago, probably from 2007. But I don't think it's been played at all ever since, so it's kind of pretty new overall.
I'm sorry, I
Just
have to interrupt here real quick. Rat King says GKG will get bows 100%, but I do not see any bowmen in GKG's
So,
army, and the unit trade is complete.
right.
that was foreshadowing for sure.
Yeah, so okay. When Limp told me about this, I was laughing my ass off because, as you guys can see, we have no bows. It's a very unorthodox trade that we did here. Um, Dak tells me that
It's
as soon
gutsy.
as he saw this trade, he thought we would lose. And
I completely thought we would lose because I saw Warlocks and Mortars, which have crazy range, versus Thrall. And I flashed back to Venice thinking, oh, Thrall Rush on Venice. Probably not gonna work.
I just
right.
think it's because it's capture the flag. That's the different variable. The map being so small.
So
Yeah.
yeah, when I had
The map is tiny.
that too. So it was two things. The map is really small and it's capture the flag, which both favor rushes very much. When I originally looked at this map, I did an archer, standard archer trade, just like anybody else would think of. But then, I don't know, I just was thinking about it, and like a few days later, I looked at it again, and I was like, you could do the rush on this totally. So it looked good. It looked good to me. Nobody else was, as Limp says, it was gutsy, but I felt pretty good about it overall.
Yeah,
So
there's
let
just
me interrupt there real quick. You just said last game that smaller maps tend to favor artillery, so why would the small map favor rushy strat? Is it
Okay,
because
it's because of the game
you
I think
type.
expect
there's a
them to get
separate
artillery?
reason.
It's because
There's so many choke points. There's so many choke points with all the puddles and ponds. It's like there's just so many spots where everyone gets separated here, and it's like, what do you do when you get rushed in a map like this? You can't fall back to anything. You just kind of you get pinched, and then your flag falls, and that's kind of what happened. I think.
it has. So you can see me drawing on the map.
Game
Kind of what
on.
we're doing. We're doing like 5 different flanks. The Zerks are going really wide, and then the Warriors are going flanking more narrowly, and the Thrall right down the middle. So just to explain to everybody, that's kind of what we're doing right now. And then Asmo's team is just doing a standard lineup and fight them because they don't think we're rushing right now. But to go back to your question, Dak, the main difference between last game and this game, why this favors the rush more, is it's CTF, and it's also a different unit set. Um, tro maps are just, it's a very different kind of gameplay, with the tro maps. So because
Shoulder so overpowered.
tro are like the main rushy type unit, but they're countered by souls. So
And
it's a different
Trout
dynamic.
can just reinforce. Trout can reinforce so quickly and easily in that way too. So I mean, they can also obviously attack so quickly, but you can also go and counter them quickly.
And souls
Or looking
souls
to shadow.
counter tro pretty well. Like they can get, so it's just a different dynamic with the gameplay. That's my main answer to your question there. As you can see,
Even though you guys still go ahead.
I just want to point out ours is doing a really wide flank. He was actually going super wide. He wanted to try and do a sneak flank on your guys' flag, and I was like, I say, you can see me in the chat. I say it's a small map. I'm like ours, dude. It's a small map. You're not gonna be able to fucking do a sneak flank. They can
Yeah.
they can almost see the whole map from anywhere, So right now we're kind of lining up. Just about. Okay, I called out the mid push now. So mid is going in. Looks pretty strong. So a lot of shit's gonna happen here really, really quickly, because it just happens so fast. I was a little upset with ours here. He kind of started backing out, and at the same time, you can see me clearly going straight in. So I actually would say this is maybe ours' worst played game. I'm going balls to the wall against 2 locks and 2 morts in the west, and ours is back here freaking fiddling around with 1 lock, 1 mort. I wanted him to just go balls to the wall into that. If you watch my rush here,
I feel like GKG, like the West guys could have played you better on that, though. Honestly, they had 4 already.
Yeah, they definitely could have played it better.
Contested.
I also played really, really well. I was dodging their shots pretty well, which is what you're supposed to do. Like, you're just supposed to spread, and then as soon as you see a mort shot go down, you just grab, you just do a box select around the area that the mort fired in, and hit
Flag
B to spread
contested.
it, and you'll dodge the mort shots very well. Or you can juke the lock
So
shots.
I also want to point out that in the southeast, where my thrall are suiciding into artillery, there's 4 artillery units over here, while the flag is
Yeah,
being
true.
overrun by thrall from Gecko.
It just
and
happens so fast.
They just tunneled on it, you know?
Yeah.
If you look at the chat, Roar called it saying GKG is coming. Then he said, wait, never mind, even though you did actually finish coming.
Oh.
And no one called
Flag
for the
captured.
artillery to go over there and support it. So they were in a lot of trouble when that happened.
Oh, you know what? I never picked up on that earlier, Dak. I thought they were talking about how Rat King said I wouldn't do a rush trade, that I would get archers, and that Roar said I would do a rush. But I didn't realize what he was really talking about was me rushing west. So that makes more sense, yeah.
Right. It was in-game. You were rushing west. Roar said, hey, you're coming in. And then Rat and Roar kind of folded. I don't know if someone saw the Nevermind, because Roar said Nevermind after he said GKG rushing west. But Asmo kind of tunneled on Arsenic over there. Merc certainly tunneled on my Thrall coming in because he was busy killing Thrall with Warlock and Mortar instead of going back to the flag where we had, you know, Thrall and you and even Limp coming in behind afterwards as well.
Yeah, I was just trying to spend my time there, just keeping their attention off the fact that the flag was being completely overrun by the Thrall. You know, maybe if the
Absolutely.
artillery were closer, maybe they could have mattered. But I mean, they weren't even close to being backed by the flag, and we still have a ton of melee still rushing in. So things weren't looking
Exactly.
good.
It was a pure distraction play on our part. So.
Yeah, Gecko did a great job just throwing the Thrall right at their flag, like right away. Because, you know, Thrall are just very expendable units. You just want to get them right in the fight as a meat shield and just make use of them. And so he did good with that.
Yeah, waste that lock mana.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I'd rather hit Thrall than Zerks or something like that. So we executed this rush pretty well. Arsenic, I would say, just made the biggest mistake of all of us. Like, he's just hesitating with his Zerks when, okay, so the 4 Arty pieces that were, like, not in the fight in the east, but he could have just rushed and overran that shit, especially with Limp. Limp was ready there to kind of help pinch that shit. I was
kind of waiting
happy.
for that to happen. It never came.
Yeah, because he just kept kind of backing off. His Zerks are... You can see my Zerks are at the flag. His Zerks should have been just about at the flag at the same time, almost. Like, the whole point of the rush on a CTF is to pin them to the flag and get the flag, right? So, I don't... Anyway, just a nitpick, you know,
There was
how to
another
do a proper
difference too,
rush.
though.
What was that?
You know, it still grabbed their attention, so it worked, but it definitely could have probably even worked better.
So the thing is, like, I went over on the east side. I went over to help Asmo. So it wasn't just Artie versus Adren. It was me and Asmo, and I feel like we held them off decently. But in the west, it just crumbled versus your rush. So I think that was the difference too.
This is just kind of a chaotic map too. It's it's just chaotic. There's so much that happens in such a small area. There's so much artillery and the Zerks running all around. It can definitely be a map where you just take a lock shot or a mortar hit that you just did not see coming from the side, and I think that probably happened here and there.
Yeah.
So I think just if anybody had to play this again, I think you would get no archers for sure, and maybe you get still locks and morts or something, but nobody would get archers on
Do you
this.
think that this is? Do you think that that's specific to capture the flag, or you think that's applicable to pretty much every other game type for the most part for this map?
Mostly capture the flag. Capture the flag is the rushiest game type there is, because there's only one point on the map that you need to pin them to. It's like a wrestling match. You're trying to pin them to their one flag, and as soon as you pin them, they're fucked. It's like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and your rush is like a wave just gonna crash right into them, and they can't walk off. They're fucked. So if this was like territories, if it was territories, you might be able to do the archers, like a more standard archer trade, and then it would play a little bit more like Baron's Venice, something like that maybe. But Flag Rally, I would definitely still not get archers. It's very similar principle on Flag Rally on this. I don't know what the flag placement is on Flag Rallies or how many flags, but still, just the sheer size of the map, and Flag Rally is still similar to CTF in some respects. You would need to have like a territories, something where you couldn't get flagged or something like that, so you could really open up just a pure BC fight with ranged units.
I think
Looks
what
like,
would feature. Go ahead, Lim.
it looks like even though Dak's ratios weren't too great, his damage was killer.
Oh yeah,
Tied for highest in the game with GKG.
yeah. Dak did. I mean, and Dak had Mort and Thrall, so I saw he got a good shot on Zerks in the beginning when Argos was kind of suiciding some goals. I don't know if Argos was intentionally baiting. I don't think he was. I think he was busy typing something, because he typed right around when that happened. But,
That's a lot of damage for that type of unit set.
and yeah, exactly. That's to have
Yeah.
that much damage with Thrall and a Mort on a rush like this is fantastic. Limp,
I mean, I think
I honestly don't even know where it came from looking at it,
Yeah.
because I was hitting some artillery when they were running back towards the flag when it was too late. There was a lock that I almost killed, and I did finish off a mort, but other than that, I don't even know where all that damage came from.
I thought you got so you had the shot on those 3 Zerks kind of early on, and let me tell you, when I saw that, I was like, yes, because any damage on Zerks when you're doing a rush like this is like, I mean, that's their only melee that they have. It's like, it's huge. So of course they healed them. They were able to heal 2 of them later on, but Dak, you had another good shot, I'm pretty sure, on mid when we hit like pussed one of their morts, and you like finished it all off and you hit a bunch of melee. I think that was it too.
That was Gecko.
Oh, that was Gecko. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's a good point.
And then I walked in front of Gecko's mort when he was firing with my thrall. I was spreading because Merc was firing a ball at me, and I just happened to walk right in front of Gecko's mort when he was loading up to fire. So
Yeah, shit happens.
I've got to
bad
say,
Dak on that one.
I'm surprised that Kruniak hasn't been a bigger factor, even with I figured he would have been given kind of bigger unit sets over maybe some of these players. I would kind of factor in him to be, him and Eastwind to be the 2 heaviest hitters here, and it seems like Adren and Rar kind of usurped him on a lot of maps, which I found to be kind of curious, because I'd put a lot of faith in Kruniak if I were Asmodian for these maps.
I saw in the chat in I want to say it was last game 2, and he said he was listening to the Browns game while he was playing, and let me tell you, if you're listening while you're to some music or some whatever, listening to anything while you're trying to play Myth, it really, I don't know, it distracts the shit out of me when I do it anyway, and it really it takes a hit on your play. So I don't know if that had something to do with it for him, but I agree.
I mean, Krun and Rower were watching football, so
Yeah.
I guess he was given archers here, so there wasn't really anything. Anybody that had archers on this against the rush wasn't really going to be able to do much. So
It's funny. I think the highest, yeah, me, Adrenaline, and Kroon had archers on this.
oh, okay, so you and yet, oh wow, that's amazing that Roar and Rat King, who should have had the most damage, they just totally got shut down. And those were the two guys I rushed. I had a 2v1.
That's what I was saying about
I had a 2v1
like
on
what
them.
happened west.
Yeah, and I just shut them down. What ended
I
up
think this Asmodean expected to be a different type of game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I didn't think he would see this trade at all. So I was,
And once it was a rush too, it put the game more in the hands of Rat King and Rar with those artillery units instead of the archer players, and
right.
maybe with the redistribution to kind of get more Eastwind and Kruniak and Adrenaline involved in that way, maybe more so with just the pure BC of the artillery. They're kind of left with the artillery just picking at units here and there and not really dealing much huge damage. I mean, they definitely got the most damage still. You can see it, but it kind of, I think, flipped the tables on the strength of what Asmodean thought he had here. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So right, when you're, a lot of people don't think about this, but when you're doing strategies, you're kind of thinking of, okay, who are my top 2 or 3 guys like to heavy hit, and what are my most important units that I need to really win the fight, right? And so, like Limp was saying, Eastwind, Adren, and Kruniak were given archers because Asmo expected to have an archer fight, and you would want your best guys on archers because they would have the biggest impact then. But if you get a strat mismatch like this, where now it flips the importance of the rolls onto something else, in this case locks and mortars, you actually wanted your best guys to be on the locks and mortars, and that kind of hurts. It's not just a mismatch in trade, it's a mismatch in the roles now and the importance of those roles.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else got anything to add? Or are we good with this one?
Should be good.
All right.
No, I think I'm ready to go to the next one.
All right. This was game 3, so we are moving on to game 4. See you guys there.